You are listening to the Better 2 podcast with DM Needham. Hi gang, Donna here. Thanks for tuning into the Better 2 podcast. Today is kind of a special episode. It's going to step away from the Better 2, of course, because it is Halloween, and Halloween is, a very special time of the year. Today's episode, I invite a friend of the show and a personal friend, Sarah Martucci, to come back and tell us a little bit about Sasquatch, among other things. If you don't know who Sarah is, well, Sarah is a psychic medium. She's intuitive. She also is a paranormal investigator and a ghost hunter and a certified crystal healer and a self-proclaimed Duchess of Donuts. But today's episode, while we talk about a little bit about the intuitive and things of that nature, we do delve into Sasquatch and aliens and ghosts and, basically intuition. And we even talk a little bit about Star Wars in there because, the Force. Is the Force real? Well, see. Just check it out and listen. So I hope you enjoy the show. We had fun doing it. We always have fun. She usually makes me laugh hard enough that I come to tears, and I kind of did. So I hope you enjoy the show, and I hope you find it as funny as we did. So enjoy. Hi, Sarah. How are you doing?
Hi, Donna. Hi, everybody. I'm doing great. I'm fucking pumped for Halloween. My nips are hard. I'm super excited. Spooky season's my favorite, so I'm fucking ready. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, actually. Halloween is going to be on the down low again this year, but, it's okay. Got too many other things going on right now, but,
Yeah.
It's okay.
I got a 2-year-old, so we got to go trick-or-treating. He just heard a basket full of candy, so if I don't deliver, I'm going to get shanked in the middle of the night.
But see, you have a reason to be excited. I mean, what kind of costumes are we doing for Halloween?
We still have to go to Spirit Halloween and get one. Like, we're down to the wire here. So I think I'm just going to be a witch. It's not a far cry. I also have a wardrobe that supports it. And I think for him, we were trying to get him to be from Lilo and Stitch. We were trying to find him a Stitch outfit because he is definitely Stitch right now, baby terrorist. So we're going to try to find him a little Stitch outfit, hopefully. If not, probably Snoopy or, Scooby-Doo, something cute that he loves. He's obsessed with trains right now. So maybe Thomas the Tank Engine, if that's feasible. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
That would be easy enough to do with some cardboard boxes. It gets really bad.
True. Worst case scenario. So yeah, still got to get him an outfit, but yeah, we're pumped for Halloween. That's my favorite holiday. So besides my birthday, and yes, you heard me right, my birthday is
Hey, I know people that celebrate all week long. So
yes, all week long. Try all month long. The day I was born.
And I commend you because when I was a mom and I had the kids, when we went trick-or-treating, I would dress up too. Yeah. Because, it's fun. Yeah. It's fun. And when we used to have the kids come here, and Cammie hates kids. Cammie hates everybody. Polly would dress up as a little devil and sit there right by the treat thing. So they would get candy and she'd get pets.
That's so cute. I love that. That's really sweet.
Cammie, that's another reason it's like this is going to be down low because otherwise all I got to deal is Cammie barking all day.
Right. No, thank you. We got other things we got to do. Yeah.
So, since this is a Halloween episode, I figured we could talk about, things that you love, like Sasquatch.
Oh boy, you wanted to get my nips hard again? Well done. Let's talk about Sasquatch and my weird obsession. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I was a kid in like the 90s and grew up in the 90s and Harry and the Hendersons and all that stuff. And Sasquatch was a big deal then. It's always been a big deal, hasn't it? But I've just always loved the idea of Sasquatch. It freaks me out a little bit, not as much as aliens. We can get to that later, but Sasquatch is where the fuck it's at. I just think it's the coolest thing ever. And people are thinking it's some kind of maybe cryptid or maybe a species of ape that we still haven't discovered in the woods. All possibilities. But do you want to know my theory?
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun. I think possibly, and I have no way to prove this. Hopefully one day I'll be able to go out in the woods and like start trying to do something with it, because I think that would be a blast. But I think it's almost like, do you know, in like those haunted scenarios where you kind of get, it's almost like a tape rewinding, where it's like you can't really interact with the ghost that you're seeing, or other people have seen this, like you can't really interact with the ghost, that you're kind of watching something play over and over and over again. It's almost like a loop stuck in time. I think it's kind of like something like that. Maybe this was the missing link. Maybe this is like original human thing that, you know, we evolved from this kind of situation, and we're seeing a replay in real time. Time is a fucking illusion. So there's that, number one. But number two, are we seeing maybe something of the past? I know another thing that's kind of talked about a lot is like maybe he's an interdimensional being. I think another possibility. So I either way, even if we're seeing it on replay, it would be interdimensional, wouldn't it? It's pretty wild. So I just think, look, man, when I talk about this, I get so excited. I just think the possibilities are amazing. And on top of that, it's just fun to play around with, because we really don't know what it is. It could be just a couple, you know, fucking rednecks in the wood, you know, trying to put on costumes and scare the shit out of people. It could just be that. It could be one of those things where, I don't know if you saw this on Kindred Spirits or anybody watches that show. I love that show with Amy Bruni and Adam Berry. But they went into a haunted location at one point, and they noticed that the information that they were saying out loud was coming back through in the recorder. This disembodied spirit was coming back and giving information. So Amy's like, let's try something. She made up a whole story, a whole scenario, and told the story out loud. It wasn't true, wasn't based on anything. She literally made it up. The next day they had Chip Coffee come on, and he started communicating with the spirit, the energy there. And that spirit and energy told him the names that she made up, the story that they made up, the whole 9 fucking yards. Even talking about it gives me the goosebumps again. So maybe this is also like a thought form type of situation where so many people have put all their energy into this idea that it actually becomes something. That's fucking incredible. Do you know what that says to us? Our thoughts become things. Mm-hmm. What? So I just think that's, look, it's super pumped. I just think that shit is so incredible, and it just kind of blows my mind, because honestly, we don't know. And in terms of like the spirit world and all of that good stuff, like, guys, we're at like the tippy top of the iceberg. We have not even covered anything. There's no way that we've discovered all of it. We're just beginning to. I just think it's endlessly fascinating. And I think it's also a key to what happens next. Is Sasquatch, do I get to see Sasquatch in heaven? Like, is that a thing? Because I want it. Like, Sarah, what's your afterlife like? Well, Sasquatch will be there.
Sasquatch, donuts, and cheese.
Cheers. Yes, queen. I don't know. That sounds like a party to me. I don't know about you.
Well, and then you can have this coffee cup that says it's good to be clean.
Hell yes. I love that. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. I think it's either it's a possible thought form that's turned into something, it's manifested and it's real. Maybe we're watching a loop in time, or even if you've heard those stories, I can't remember. I'll have to give you the information when I find it and look it up. But there's a story around this guy like in the late 1800s that had a vision of a ghost show up in his house. Well, he wrote about it in his diary. Well, however many years later in the 2000s, this new person bought this home, was upstairs doing stuff, all of a sudden turned around, and there's a dude from the 1800s standing there looking like holy fuck at him. So he was like, what the fuck? Well, he had no idea about the journal. The guy had described what this man that just bought the house looked like in absolute detail. Time is an illusion. Time is an illusion. Also, too, who's haunting who? Look, if this doesn't get your booty tingling, I don't know what to tell you guys. Go to another episode, because it's like... I'm fucking here for it today. So again, who's haunting who? Possibility of a cryptid here, maybe even a thought form that's taken real fucking form. This is incredible. But I think at the end of it, no matter what the fuck we find out, we may not find anything. But I have a feeling this is going to go back to energy and the way that we can create things with our thoughts and our speech. Like we can create. Our thoughts and our speech create things. I think it's incredible, and I'm fucking here for it. And God, if I ever meet Sasquatch, may he be really nice and share a donut with me. That's all I'm asking.
I
Oh,
have I have a sheet that I got from somewhere, and it's somewhere running around. I have a copy of it, and it talks about watch your thoughts. Your thoughts become words. Your words become actions, and your actions. It talks about all that. I do have an experience with Sasquatch. No, I did not meet him.
you got me real excited for a
No,
second.
I know. No, well, I met him in my nightmares. Maybe that's a better way to say it.
Okay.
My grandmother's house, or my mama's house, was she had all woods around her. Even though the whole rest of the neighborhood was a neighborhood, there was a wooded area behind her, wooded here. It wasn't like she was in the middle of the woods, because there was also like a building on the other side of the woods, but there was enough woods there for a 9-year-old to be,
Yeah.
So I don't know if we watched, because I remember the $6 Million Man had a Sasquatch episode, and also they did some things on Sid and Marty on one of the Saturday morning cartoon live action things. They did that. Sasquatch scared the crap out of me. And so I didn't realize I was scared, but I went to sleep that night, and I remember very clearly it was raining, and I remember going to sleep and waking up because this creature was after me. And I woke up terrified of Sasquatch. That's my Sasquatch.
I wouldn't want a large, hairy man running after me either. Like, that's fucking creepy. It's creepy, straight up. And so I get it when people are like, that's creepy, Sarah. Why are you so into this? I'm like, I just think it's fucking cool because we don't know what it is. And so I think the lore and again, all that energy and the storytelling around it, it's got to create something. It's got to create something. So I don't know. I just think I'm sorry it scared you. Again, I grew up in a time where it was like Harry and the Hendersons. So everybody's like, oh, this is cool. They put a fun spin on it. So I was like, I don't really have any fear per se. Although, can I say though, everybody that always does these shows that go out trying to find Sasquatch, they're always doing a mating call. Are they ready for what happens when Sasquatch shows up? Are y'all ready? I think we need to think this through. We need to come with a different approach.
Yeah, because I mean, when you think about it, Sasquatch is approximately 9 feet at least tall.
Yeah.
He's got big feet. What do they say about big feet?
Oh, no. Look, here's what I know. I don't want to find out. So, you better have a lot of Slim Jims ready. I heard he likes Slim Jims too. Just no thanks. So everybody needs to just let's rework our approach to this and try to find a Sasquatch. That'd be great.
But here's the thing. Maybe they do the mating call, and maybe Sasquatch is out there in the woods going, swipe left. Or swipe.
Oh, he's like, she sounds hideous. Fair. Good call, Sasquatch. Good call, bud.
Yeah, I mean, it goes kind of with the alternate reality theory or the illusion theory that, maybe he's got his own little thing going,
We busted.
Good.
She sounds not cute at all. I gotta go.
No, I run a real Squatch.
Okay. I want a real lady Squatch.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, good luck to anybody that actually doesn't counter them and they're doing that technique. God bless you.
It's fun time with you on the podcast as I start crying from laughing.
Look, I'm asking the real questions, Donna, okay?
The hard ones, yes. Well, going back to the mating call, hard ones there.
Well, that came full circle. Woo!
I try.
Well done.
So...
What do you think Sasquatch is? Do you think I'm crazy for saying those things? What do you think it is?
I haven't really given it a lot of thought. I mean, honestly, I haven't. No, I'm being fair. I how do I say this? There are too many things unexplained in this world that I've experienced personally that anything's possible. That's the way I look at it. So is Sasquatch real? There's a good chance he could be, or at least he was. It's kind of like my theory about the guy in the red jacket that gives away toys. Not going to name names because in case anybody's around.
And it's too early as well, too, in the season.
Yeah, but I mean, in case somebody's listening and there's somebody around.
My 2-year-old feral. Yes. Gotcha.
Yeah, or somebody, listening to the podcast in their car. Yeah. Anyway. But, my mom, when I found certain gifts from certain people, I got busted. And so she put a little. She didn't give me anything that Christmas.
Oh shit! That's
Except,
cold, Mom. Damn.
I had a
Don't
Hallmark
tell me.
Snoopy wallet that had a
Oh,
penny and a note in there. It was stuffed in my stocking, and it said, "Next time, believe." Santa.
Mom is bold. Mom
I
was
did
bold.
not get anything for 3 weeks
Damn.
because I found out what I had because some of the kids in my class told me. Really?
Uh-huh. That's how I found out. And then I was pissed. I was pissed when I found out. I was so angry my parents lied to me. I went home and I told all my brothers and sisters because I'm a terrible human. I was like 6 though. I was like, y'all need to hear this shit.
I was 9.
Yeah.
And I went behind my dad's nudie magazines. Yes, my dad had nudie magazines. And I found it. And see, the problem was my mom was really close to all the teachers and the principal at the school because it was a small school. So it got back to her like rather quickly.
Yeah.
And I got busted. So yeah.
Whoopsie.
But I mean, back to the whole point of that story, because I digress, is I think at one point he was real. I do think there was a legitimate thing. And when you look at it, while it may seem really, yeah, your parents lied to you, there's also a point of it's showing that you're carrying a tradition on. Now, when I worked at Kmart back in the 80s, 86,
I missed Kmart.
It was a fun store.
Anyways.
Huh?
I said I really liked Kmart. I'm bummed Kmart's gone. Anyways.
Well, I'll say this. If John were here, I'd make him do the blue light special announcement because John used to be able to do the blue light specials all the time. That was another thing we had in common. We both worked at Kmart and Chuck E. Cheese.
Nice.
Not together, though, mind you. But we did. Anyway, this couple walks in with their kids, and the kids are I would say about 6 and 8. And I'm like, so are you guys excited about Christmas? Are you excited about what Santa's bringing? And Dad looks at me and he goes, we don't lie to our children. They have $100 each to spend.
Cool, Dad.
Hey! Just like, what do you say to that? Except, alrighty then.
Happy holidays. That's what you say to that. Happy holidays. Enjoy your $100, kids. No, I get it. I totally get it. I kind of struggled with it too with Leo. Like, hey, do we tell him? But nah, there's some magic there. Let him believe in magic for a little bit. I think it's good.
Yeah. And I mean, isn't that kind of, if you think about it, back to putting words in there. If you're speaking something, you're manifesting. And if it manifests joy and manifests the belief and the tradition, some traditions are worth saving.
I think so too.
Not so much.
Yeah, fair. Absolutely fucking fair. I love that.
So let's say we've talked about Santa, we've talked about Sasquatch, aliens. Aliens
scares the shit out of me. Aliens scare the ever loving fuck out of me. I mean, is it just me? But like something comes out of the sky and it might probe your butt. I don't want any parts of that. I don't want any parts of it. Why does it have, why does it again, I grew up in the 90s, the X-Files, and it was just like, I can't handle it. I don't like
the original Stargate movie.
Oh shit. Yeah. Didn't they go to like ancient Egyptian times and some stuff? Yeah.
What if that, I mean, when you look at the logistics, I'm not going to sit here and play devil's advocate or whatever, but if you look at the logistics of Egypt, how did that happen? How were those things built?
I think by human ingenuity, honestly. I think it's totally plausible that humans built it. It just took a long time and a lot of bodies to do it. Like, I absolutely think that they could have done it. They were massive. I mean, it took years. It took like 30 years to build something.
But why do we have them located in different parts of the world? It's not just Egypt. There's temples. That's a good
question. And so maybe either Egyptian, maybe because of trade routes, maybe that Egyptian religion spread to other spaces in the world. Or maybe it's aliens.
Aliens!
Or maybe it's aliens. And look, I don't think all aliens are scary. Again, I think there's something out there. Let's be fucking real about it. You can't have billions upon billions and billions of galaxies and us be the only thing. That's so arrogant. There's other stuff out there, but I think if are things out there, it's a spectrum, just like we are, which absolutely terrifies me again. Because what if we come across something that's not happy or good? War of the Worlds changed me. When I saw that as a teenager, like it changed me. It just really fucked with me bad mentally. And before that, I used to have nightmares about alien abductions. When I was 5, I had a real fucked up dream about being abducted by an alien and being stuck in a cage. This is going to get so weird. Here we fucking go.
Right, I'm going to say this though, before you go there. How do you know it was a dream?
Question marks. Question mark. Anybody that I have shared this with that I felt comfortable enough to share it with has said that exact same thing. How do you know that that was a dream? Like,
and now you're putting it out there for the world to hear. So go ahead.
So I'm having a moment here where I'm being vulnerable, Donna, and I'm talking about my fears.
Fair enough. Let's go.
But yeah, this I was stuck in a cage and I was bawling my eyes out because I was terrified. I was so scared. It was I don't know, it was all metal. I was like a cage within a cage. I don't even know how else to explain that. I was terrified. I was 5 years old when I had this dream. I still remember it. And this other being that was in the cage with me came and sat next to me. Didn't have any eyes. It didn't have a mouth, but it had like areas where it would be. It smelled really good, which is a weird thing to say. I still remember the smell of it. It smelled like comforting, like home. Like there was some smell coming from it that felt familiar and safe to me. And when it spoke to me, here we go. It was in my head. Because it didn't really have a mouth. So it was like mentally, telepathically speaking with me. And it essentially told me like, I'm going to get you out of here. Follow my lead. And I was like, okay. And so I just kind of followed this thing around and it helped me break loose. And then the next minute I remember waking up in my bed. That's the very short version of the dream. But this thing was like, it was blue in color. And it almost looked like it was covered in fur, but it was not fur. Its body or fur type texture was moving and alive. So I wish I could almost draw it, so I could show you guys what the fuck it looked like, but it was fucking weird. And at first I was terrified of it, but then when it came closer and started speaking to me, I felt really comforted, and it had a female voice. And then again, it smelled like home, or it smelled like comfort and safety. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to trust this thing. And she broke me out. And then, the next thing I remember, waking up in my bed being like, what the fuck was that? So it was enough that I told my parents. And of course, my parents at this point are like, listen here, crazy. That was a terrible dream. And you just need to calm the fuck down. Well, so, yeah.
Between your dream and then the other thing we talked about a couple of podcasts ago with the boat, with the guy at the boat, here's the thing. I'm going to say this. And you can think I'm crazy. To me, that sounds more like a plausible happening.
I don't know. I don't know. And so I'm scared to say yes, but there is a part of me that's like, what was that? But I don't want to push it any further. Like, I don't want to find out. And also, too, what are you doing stealing 5-year-olds? Like, y'all don't have enough resources in all of the fucking galaxies? What the fuck is that shit? If that's real, what the fuck were you doing stealing a 5-year-old? What the fuck?
Okay, there's a couple of things we're playing around, obviously.
Okay.
If time is not real, how long were you really gone? You may not have been gone, but maybe a minute in our time. Secondly, maybe this is how you unlocked your gifts. Did this supersede did this, I know you don't remember, but you have to wonder, did this supersede the boat thing? If this superseded seeing the guy at the foot of your bed, then you have to wonder, did this unlock your abilities in some way? And is that the case for most of us who have some kind of ability? Have we not necessarily been abducted, but have we had some kind of encounter on a different plane
or dimension? Yeah. Yes. I mean, shit, honestly, Donna, anything is possible. And I never even thought about it like that. I do remember when I said that to my parents, like, I do remember being like, oh, they're not going to believe me because I'd already been talking about ghosts. So I think maybe the ghost thing had been happening beforehand, but that's also a really good thing. I'd never thought of that. Maybe it opened me up wider. Or
Mm-hmm.
maybe it opened up the possibilities, because I don't just see people stuck on the earth plane. I see fairies, I see mermaids. And I know anybody listening right now is like, yikes, but listen to me. This is just the way that that spirit energy presents itself. It's something that I would understand, or I'd be able to digest. You know what I'm saying? So it might not actually be a mermaid, but it's showing itself in that way when I get in the water. And it's also been rare that I've encountered that stuff, but I see elemental stuff. I see dimensional stuff. I see, earthbound spirit and those that are in the light. So maybe it opened me up wider than just the earth plane. I never thought about that. Huh.
I mean,
Kind of scares me a little bit.
when you're talking about the
Yeah.
dimension thing, I walked a labyrinth. There's a labyrinth over in Wheaton. And I walked this labyrinth. I've walked this labyrinth many times before, but I walked this labyrinth one day and I walked in, did my little mantra, walked out. And when I got to the end of the labyrinth, about to step out, I saw things shifting. I saw it was like things were blocked and everything was kind of resetting and moving. It was very surreal.
Hmm.
And it was like time was trying to catch up in some kind of fashion or something, because it was just kind of, it wasn't
Glitchy?
all, yes. Yes. And so it was kind of, but it wasn't glitchy as in jerky. It was glitchy as in here, here, kind of very segmented.
Yeah.
And then it was gone.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. For me to sit here and say, well, that's not possible. How do you know? Going to John's words, how do you know?
I mean, how do you know? That's the thing, right? Is like we don't actually know. And so I could sit here all day long and pontificate on what I know to be true, but the honesty comes down to it's like, guys, we don't know fucking anything. All we really have is our experiences. That's why I love paranormal investigation so goddamn much, because it's a way to possibly quantify and show with some kind of proof or solidity, physical reality that we know of so far, or at least how it's presenting itself right now, that like something is happening here. How can we understand this in the reality that we're in at this moment? So I love that shit. I think it kind of brings it home, or it grounds it. It makes it a little bit more accessible than something that's just happening out in the ethers. So yeah, that's interesting. Now look, I believe in aliens. I believe in aliens. Even my husband had an experience where I would never think Chris in a million years would believe in something like that, but he did. When he was a kid, him and a friend that were next to him were standing there, and all of a sudden this silent ship came up, and he's like, I cannot explain it to you. It was hovering over the house, and it should have been loud as fuck, and it was silent. And it just the way that it was built, like it was metal I had never seen. There was lights on it. It just froze me in place. And then all of a sudden it took off. No noise, no sound, no nothing. He's like, I still to this day cannot explain it. I've seen shit in the sky I cannot explain. And there's sometimes, girl, when I drive through certain parts of Pennsylvania, for those that don't know, when I drive through certain parts, I think Mont Alto or Alto something, or Quincy, when I go through some of those parts of Pennsylvania, I am hearing spirit talk to me. And every time I go through there, I hear alien abduction. So I'm like, the fuck? So either somebody's having those experiences, this is really happening, or somebody's going through something and they think that that's what it is. So I believe in this shit, and that's why it scares me. I don't want to be abducted. I don't want to be fucking taken somewhere. I don't want to be experimented on. I'm not your fucking pet. I don't want none of this shit. I don't want none of it. And like, may God, like, if anything does come here, please God, let it be friendly. But let's be honest, I doubt it seriously.
Who says that we weren't aliens put here?
There's that. What would we do if we finally discovered another planet that had living things on it, like living in terms of, it's got maybe a heartbeat or brain activity or whatever the fuck, and it's humans? What the fuck would we do?
The original Battlestar Galactica started that stuff back in 1978, and it was before that. But I remember being a kid, we were driving out to my grandparents' house, and my dad pulled the car over, and then he followed it because there was something weird in the sky. And he parked us, and there was other cars parked, and we're all just looking up at the sky. And granted, where we were it was out by Mishu, which is actually a NASA. They have NASA in Mishu.
Oh, wow.
So, and this is New Orleans East. So there's a NASA facility in Mishu. And so we stopped, and everybody's looking, and it was just like, there it was, and then it was gone. Now, maybe it was a plane with stealth, maybe.
Oh, maybe.
Who knows? But it was
But maybe it's aliens.
This was the 70s. We didn't really deal with stealth. At least we didn't know it. But then there's been a lot of experiments and a lot of things going on that we haven't known about. So
there's that too.
Yeah.
Didn't the report just come out like 6 months ago that nobody fucking reacted to, and I was mind blown that like literally it was like a classified document came out saying that UFOs are real. UFOs are fucking real. Still unidentified flying objects, but like our government even doesn't know what they are. That's terrifying. And like from pilots and people, like their stories, like pilots, people who were like in the military, that these people like they're intelligent. They they scan them for mental issues to make sure that they're clear and they're you know what I mean, when you're getting up there in the sky. So these aren't like straight up wackadoos up in the sky just making up fucking stories. These are like people that are trained to do their work. These are very scientific, logical humans saying, I encountered something, I cannot explain what it is. Well, insane.
And let's talk about this since we're talking military. Them doing the experiments with remote viewing. Nobody ever talks about that. But if you say something about remote viewing, people look at you like you're insane. But our military was doing these experiments, and they had proof that you could do this.
Mm-hmm.
So
is it a weird thing? I've always wanted to be a part of one of those. No. I've always wanted to, ever since I was a little kid, I've wanted to work. Here we go. It's weird again, but I wanted to work for the military, like in the CIA kind of capacity, like using my gifts and abilities. I think that'd be fucking badass, but it would be used to spy on different countries and probably do fucked up shit. So I probably don't actually want that, but I just always thought that would be really cool. When I started reading about that, I was like, holy fuck. It's a very neat, it's a very spy kind of like cool adventure kind of feel to it, 007 kind of shit, but with your brain. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool, but
it is cool.
Again, it'd be used for nefarious shit. So I probably don't actually want that.
Yeah, that's the problem. When they start digging into the nefarious, then you're like, well, it loses its.
I don't really want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
I think I just want to be a part of an elite group of psychics, an Avengers team.
I was gonna say the Avengers. Avengers assemble. Here we go.
Doing cool shit in the world with my psychic abilities. Pretty cool.
So
maybe Sasquatch will be a part of the team. Who knows?
maybe the collective could harness that. And I want to talk about the collective and psychic Avengers or whatever. Because the one thing that people don't get about intuitives, Lucy was part of this too. We did this speed reading event, and it was 6 psychics, 6 readers. And people sat down for 5 minutes, and they'd all get everybody that was there to read for them. And every time they would basically say, every one of you said the exact same thing. There was no way we could hear each other because it was noisy. So there's a collective, I think, that we all pull from, and you can go to a different reader and you can get the same information. Some readers may have more information they can glean than others.
Yeah.
But I don't think people realize that.
No, that's been my experience. And again, this is just my limited understanding of my limited human understanding of what I'm experiencing. But yeah, that there's actually been like a collective energy that you can kind of tap into and start to glean information. So whether you want to call that spirit, whether you want to call that the collective consciousness, whether you want to call that God, whatever the fuck source, doesn't fucking matter. You can call it your fucking refrigerator. It does not fucking matter. Whatever it is, like we're able to tap into this thing and really connect with other people, not only mentally, but emotionally, spiritually. It becomes a whole energy grid that we can tune into and help another person find their way through. This is fucking cool. This is fucking cool shit, if you ask me. And I think also too, it's going to help us, I hope eventually, kind of break down our fears and worries around everybody trusting their intuition, because anyone can tap into this, y'all. This is not just for special people, in air quotes. Like, this is literally everybody on Mama Earth has some psychic ability to some degree, okay? To some degree. Some of us were born with the door just a little bit more open. Par example, anybody could build a building. You can put bricks together, learn on YouTube what to do. Anyone can make a building, but some people were born with being able to see the building before it's made, right? So I hope that this all kind of leads to, because it seems like it's going that way, that, the more research we do into this, the more work we do around it, waking people up to their own innate GPS system that's inside of them, because of this intuitive, or maybe it's a cup on the end of a string that we can kind of tune into and listen to the consciousness, maybe even speak back and forth with it. That's been my experience. I think it's beautiful. It makes me feel connected and good. And on top of that, it gives me hope for not only myself, but other people that I talk to, that I connect with, that I help, or that help me. Fuck. So I think, I hope that eventually, again, it just leads to everybody waking up to their own individual gifts and abilities, tuning in and seeing this less as a threat or a scary thing, or that the devil's going to come in, more than it is just trusting yourself and working with that consciousness. How cool is that? I just think that's really neat.
I was fortunate enough, I think it was in season, well, yeah, I think it was in season 1, because this is season 3,
Nice.
that I actually talked to Christopher Inshu, I think his name is. He's a neuroscientist. He's in Japan. And
Cool.
he actually wrote a book about tarot, but we talked about the metaphysical from a neuroscientist's point of view.
Oh, you're getting me excited again.
And I'm trying to remember, because like I said, it's been a while. I wish I would have listened to it recently so we could talk more about it, but it was very intriguing because he talked about this bridge and how there is this neuron path, and that we are all connected. He explained it beautifully in layman's terms, and this is from a scientist point of view. So it's not just you and I talking about the woo-woo. There's actually the scientific facts behind this to back it up. That, dare I say, Star Wars had a thing with the Force.
Yeah, dude.
When you finally start getting into the metaphysical principles of life, and you watch Star Wars again, that when I had my first awakening, that was just, I love Star Wars. Always watched it. When I first watched it, when I was really practicing things, it was just like, damn.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. I mean, but you have to step back to go, okay. Because otherwise
I saw Star Wars when I was probably 10, the first time, like 9 or 10, and it changed my fucking life. I love Star Wars. Like, ever since a kid, I've been a massive fan. I had the strongest crush on Mark Hamill. It was hard. It was real.
Yeah.
Like, I was in love with him. Like, that fucking movie for everything to me. And also too, it gave me a weird go ahead, or gave me a weird green light to just trust myself and that energy. And I knew what it was talking about. I was only a kid, but I knew what it was saying. And it was telling me to trust yourself and to trust that energy that moves through you. Like, you're not crazy, and you've got an ability here. Use it for good. And it could be used for good or bad. I love Star Wars because I know it's built for 12-year-olds. It's that story for 12-year-olds, but it also talks about morality. It talks about anger. It talks about love in all different forms. So it becomes this mythos story that we can tune into and really understand ourselves better. Holy fuck, yes. I love me some Star Wars. Fuck yeah.
For me, my parents had split. I was 10. My parent, or about to be 10. My parents had split. So, Dad's like, where you want to go? Let's go see Star Wars. Where you want to go? Let's go see Star Wars. I mean, it was the perfect escape. Go over to my cousin's house. I get to be Princess Leia because I'm the oldest cousin, and
hello.
That's it. And I mean, who wouldn't want to be Princess Leia? She's number one, a badass bitch. Number two, she's got Han, who was hot. She's got Luke, who was hot, but oh wait,
her brother. Yeah, fair. Yeah, that got weird. But at
that time, you didn't know that. You were like, well, he's really cute, and he's really cute, and yeah.
She's got choices. No, she didn't really.
No, not really.
No, I love that shit.
Let's rewind that for a second. If they know, if they're so in tune with things, shouldn't he have known?
Yeah. Well, you remember in that one scene with the Ewoks, and she was like, I always knew. I'm like, girl, oh, what? Okay.
Well, some families do kiss on the lips.
Oh boy. Yeah, I didn't come from a family that did that. So maybe that's just me. Or maybe, I don't know, our love language wasn't awesome. But to me, that's not my style.
No. No, as we digress again into something really weird,
bizarre, but I'm here for it.
But that's the thing about Star Wars, though, is Star Wars, as a kid, you can watch it and take it for the wild adventure it is. And as you look at life and grow, you can see the bigger picture of it.
It just meant so much for me. It meant so much to me ever since I was a kid, and it was a green light to just be myself and to trust that whatever was flowing through me was universal, and to just trust it and it was going to be okay. Now that didn't stop scary things from showing up at my house. That didn't stop. October, my bad, is usually, I love Halloween and I also am terrified of it. I have been since I was a kid because it genuinely is. I know it's overused at this point, but the motherfucking veil is thin in Scorpio season once it hits at the end of the month, getting into Halloween. So it's just, I would start to see more things, and it was really, not all of it was good. And again, for me, this has been my personal experience. It's a spectrum. So I've seen some absolutely terrifying things, and I've seen some actually beautiful stuff too. But some of the more elemental or the dimensional stuff, I cannot explain. And especially the shadow people, never again. Please, God, I beg you. I never, ever, ever want to encounter a shadow person ever again. Now, there's a difference. There's a difference. There's some ghosts and some people that are earthbound can come through looking like a shadow person, but they are not. They're just dark in nature, so it's hard to tell. But a real shadow person is like, you can't see through it. It is solid. It's got a human form, but it ain't got no face, and it doesn't have good energy. So we don't know what it's made of. Again, we do not know everything there is to know out there, but we know for the most part, and anybody that's encountered these shadow people, they don't have good intentions. They don't. And they seem to visit people, especially mediums and psychics, whenever they're younger. If they're from a young age, they've got gifts and abilities. They're showing up when they're kids, and they're trying to like Amy Allen. If you guys know who she is, she's on that psychic detective show with Steve. Man, she said she was a kid and this thing was telling her to stick a fork in a socket, fucking kill herself. My experience was definitely different. Mine came, is it okay if I tell this?
Yeah.
It's pretty fucked up. Okay. It was late at night and I started getting that feeling that something was in the room, and so I started getting really fucking scared, and I was calling to my mom. I was literally like catwalling to my mom. I was like, Mom, flipping the fuck out. My room was really dark and the hallway was really dark. And all of a sudden I see a figure in the doorway, and it wasn't a figure. It was like in the shape of my mother, her hairstyle, everything. And I couldn't see what I was like, Mom. I thought it was my mom. And so it came towards me, but it didn't walk. It glided.
Okay.
Because I want to say floated, but it didn't really float. It glided towards me, which I thought was kind of weird, but I was still kind of like apprehensive. But I was like, Mom. When I got up closer to it, it was solid black. It was solid black. I went to go hug it. I went straight through it. I hit the floor. When I hit the floor and looked at the carpet, I was like, fuck. I pushed myself back up and I just started screaming. I didn't know what else to do. And so that thing stood up and then it just flew out of the room. Even talking about it again gives me the creeps just because it was so terrifying. But that was actually a really benign encounter, I think, compared to a lot of other people's where these things are trying to kill them. There's a weird feeling I had with this, even though it was really creepy and scary, but it was like weirdly also coming to see if I was okay. Why would it come in the shape of my mother?
I don't know.
And so was it trying to come close to me to do me harm, or was it trying to soothe me? I don't know. But when I started screaming, it left. So I just think that that's really, I have so many questions around that. I have so many questions, but the shadow people stuff is absolutely terrifying to me. It's very scary. And that's not the only encounter I've had with shadow people, at least up in my house growing up. My house growing up was so active with all kinds of insane shit. It was absolutely insane. Yeah.
I don't know that I remember that, but in all honesty, I was sick a lot as a kid. I mean, I remember some things that I knew that I was intuiting, but I was sick a lot. So I don't really per se know. I remember dreams. I remember certain things. I remember my parents never fought in front of me. Never fought in front of me at all. And
yeah, but you could fucking feel it.
But here's the thing. So at 8, they're going to go to Disney World. And we're all supposed to go to Disney World. Since Disney World opened up in 1971, we would go to Disney World every year. And I'm 8, and I'm like, I don't want to go. They're like, excuse me? I'm like, I don't want to go. Why not? You guys need some time alone. why would an 8-year-old say this? My parents end up splitting about 6 months later.
Yeah, you were fucking feeling it. You were picking it the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think a lot of kids have, when you're fresh out spirit world or you're just about to enter, so the elderly and young kids have a lot in common. They're very, very closest to that other side there. So I think a kid's usually around 7 or 8 starts to wean off if they don't stick with their gifts and abilities, or maybe it's like pushed out of them. But yeah, I mean, kids can tune in. Kids are not fucking dumb. They're actually incredibly intelligent, and I think way more tuned in than we give children credit for. So yeah, Mama, I think that you were picking up on your environment, what was going on with your parents. You're no dum-dum. You knew what the fuck was going on.
No, and for me, a lot of the times my stuff comes through dreams. I mean, while I'm a reader, yes, and I do medium stuff, a lot of the stuff comes to me in dreams. It always has.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, even John's death, we've talked about that before. You know, I had the dream about the tornado and being in the parking lot near where we're in the car and the tornado is coming and it's going to lift the car up. And I'm like, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. And in the reality of it, the parking lot in the dream is the Burger King's here and the parking lot in the dream is here in reality. So we stop at Burger King because he thinks the sugar's going low. We park the car, or I park the car, and here we are, that close. And usually tornadoes mean something's coming that's going to shake your damn world up.
It's a tower card.
And he died in the car. And I kept saying I didn't want to die. I mean, it's not exactly science there, but it was almost a month to the day.
You picked it up beforehand. Yep.
I do have a guy coming on the podcast that's going to be talking about dreams.
Nice. Oh, that's going to be a good episode.
Yeah.
So I love that shit because dream interpretation is my jammy jam since day one. That's actually what since I was a child, people would come to me about their dreams and be like, oh, this is what it means. They're like, how the fuck do you know that? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Look, I'm just telling you what the fuck showed up in my brain. If it works, awesome.
Well, it's weird. Since John passed, the only dream I've had about him was right around Thanksgiving of last year. And I'm gonna preface this. The only dream until recently was him showing up at the house, and I'm like, what do you want? He's like, I'm here. I said, it's like, do you want dinner? Yeah. I said, what do you want? I want a bologna sandwich. Out of anything you could have in the world, you want a bologna sandwich. And that was basically the whole dream.
Yeah.
And as you're saying, the veils thing. So here we are at the end of September, last couple of days of September, and I was having a tough time, I'll admit. And I had a panic attack, and I went back to sleep after it was over. And I was here in this house, and John was back by the slider, and there was a tornado warning. I'm like, get your ass downstairs. And he's like, no, I'm not. No. And he pulls back the curtain to open up the slider window.
Interesting.
And there's all these tornadoes flying around outside, but they all miss the house. And he just looks at me and says, you're going to be okay. And then he was gone. And he showed up a couple other times. Like, actually, I had a dream about you Sunday night.
What?
I had a dream about you. You showed up at my house because you were going to be on the podcast. And it was just kind of weird because I was like, my house is a mess, and you're like, I don't care. And then the dream changed, and I went downstairs, and I found John's coat caught between the storm door and the house door. And so I opened it up, and I'm like, what are you doing? Why didn't you come in? Will you change the lock? I'm like, I hadn't changed the locks. And he was sleeping in a silver pickup truck that had 4x4 on the bed of it. I remember the truck it was one of those extended cabs, which we don't have. And I was just kind of like, why didn't you just come in? I couldn't. Okay. John asked
Interesting.
It's weird.
That's very weird dream. But
Yeah.
I think also too, maybe even talks about like the grief process, that sometimes when we don't face that grief process, or we're having a difficult time processing our grief, it becomes like a thick blanket that lays over top of us. So the more that we tune in, the more that we honor our grief, whether that be anger, sadness, whatever level you're through with it, the more that you honor it, the more that the door unlocks, the more that the curtains can be pushed aside, the more easily you can feel your loved ones coming through. So I think it was more of a dream of tuning in and allowing yourself to feel this part of the grief process that you're going through, letting you know that the more that you tune in, the more that you go and open the door, he
Yeah.
can walk through.
Well,
I
and
love
like the day of the dream with the tornadoes, it was his birthday.
that.
So, I mean, that was part of the panic. It was other things, but that was part of it. And yeah, it's like, I know the veil is thinning because he keeps just kind of popping up when I do sleep. My problem is I don't sleep that well. I used to be very meticulous about sleep as far as I would have great dreams and I'd remember them all. But I don't always remember them now.
I think you'd be a great astral projector. Anybody that tells me they have good dreams, they remember them, especially if you have flying dreams or swimming dreams a lot too, you're probably an astral projector. So yeah, you could definitely do remote viewing. You'd probably be amazing at it. Or even for you, Don, I feel like I've told you this before, like working with the local police, finding missing and or lost people.
You used to say about John, you told John he was a natural. That is one person who, I love you, babe, but he was one person that just would not embrace his talents or his.
No, he didn't, man. And he was good.
Yeah.
Remember that time he told me he saw a skull superimposed on my face?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I thought it was cool.
I mean, this is the man that, speaking of Halloween, so we'll go back to Halloween of 2004.
Yeah.
And we're at a friend's house and him and I are not dating. And he's sitting there across from me and there's our friend and then another person. And she's doing a guided meditation with us. And, everybody's got their eyes closed, except John, of course, except John. And apparently he was staring at me. And he saw my mother sitting on top of me. But, this is the man who goes, how do you know?
Oh, right. Well, John, we don't know. Well, now, John, you know. Now you know.
Yeah, now you know. Now you have the answers. But
no, but I think that was, John had definite gifts and abilities. And I think for him, and a lot of guys too, I find that whenever I meet them, it's usually the ones that question it are so hardcore about it that they're like, oh, there's no way, or they're just super fucking skeptical, are usually the ones that have gifts and abilities. And they're looking for somebody to prove that it's real to them.
Well, I mean, come on, and we've talked about this. It's me sitting across from him telling him some blonde's going to rock his world. Is that my ex-girlfriend? I have no idea who the fuck that is.
I just saw what I saw, bro. Here's the info. Yeah.
Oh, wait, shit, it's me.
Whoopsie.
That was only, 8 months later. It's like, oh, shit.
Right.
You don't put yourself in somebody's reading, but hey, there you go.
I put myself in the reading, didn't even realize it was me.
No. I mean, but once again, how do you explain these things? I was talking to somebody last night about dating, and it's like, well, I've not really ever had to really date. So people are usually placed in front of me.
That's nice. That's nice.
I'm not saying that it works that way, but I mean, like the first guy I dated, he was friends with my roommate. Yeah. He needed a bassist. So I joined his band. And then of course, so
the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah, well, whatever. Let's get back to some fun stuff. Ghost hunting.
Yes, I love it. I do not get to do it enough. I love ghost hunting, and not in I'm not talking Ghost Adventures BS. I'm talk about actually going in there and communicating with the ghosts, seeing what they need. If you're stuck, do you need help? Is this something on replay? Is this even something that's conscious? So if there is a consciousness there, helping it if it needs it. And if it's just something on replay, understanding what this thing is on replay so we can understand what the story is, maybe tell it, help release it, whatever the fuck is needed there. I like investigating. I like research. I like going into a place and figuring out a fucking puzzle, especially when it comes to something like spirit and ghosts and things of that nature. So I find that stuff endlessly fascinating. I am bored very quickly. And this seems to be, the work that I do seems to be the only thing that endlessly keeps me connected and interested and involved. So because there's so many things to explore. And again, we don't fucking know the answers. It's a lot of theories, which I think are fun. If my questions that I ask lead to more questions, I know I'm where I'm supposed to be. So I love that shit. Finding final answers is maybe for the birds, and I've given up on it. But at least in this moment, with my limited understanding with what I've found so far, this is what I know to be true. But that can change at any moment. Any moment. So I love that. I think that keeps me on my toes. I think that keeps the information fresh. And I think, again, it also makes me realize that maybe nothing in this world is permanent. Hello. But, this idea that we think that we're going to live forever or that something's going to last forever, it's bullshit. Remember, you're just here in this moment. So either move past this time loop that you're in, confront your ghosts and your skeletons, and make sure that you go into the next with no regrets as much as possible. At least that's what I've learned so far. I love that. That's good shit.
It is. And I mean, that's the thing about us as humans. We sometimes get stuck, and I mean, I'm guilty of it. Sometimes we get stuck in certain loops and that we can't break that cycle. And it's like, it's time to break that cycle. I find myself in that position now because
Me too, Mama. Me too.
I have to clean my house out. And it's not, there's the trauma of being the kid who had her desk cleaned out.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to have some stranger come in here and do that.
Yeah. Yep. And so what can you do now to help yourself to mitigate that situation? How do you take care of this and hold on to the things that are most important, letting go of the other stuff that maybe we're just holding on to that's masking a sense of safety and security? We all have to do this, Donna. We all do in varying degrees and forms. So just know that you're not alone in that. There's no shame in it, for fuck's sake, that we all have to do this fucking work. It's time to Marie Kondo the shit out of stuff. It's time to fucking do it. So now is the time.
That's the thing. I mean, we look at stuff and it's like, okay, do I sit here and, I had all this Doctor Who stuff, and well, Doctor Who's great. I like David Tennant. I bought that stuff for my husband. I don't need it for me.
I actually know a couple people that would love the shit out of that. So if you're ready to sell, let me know. I'll hook you up. All right.
Okay. But I mean, that's just one of those things. It's like, I got the stuff and, even some of the Star Wars stuff that I have, I'm not getting rid of my lightsaber, but
how dare you? Don't even say it.
But there's other things that, I mean, somebody will be mortified, but John, a couple of years ago, got me an R2D2 trash can, a life-size R2D2. It's great. It's great. But I don't need it. And when he got it for me, I'm like, honey, he's like, well, I know you love Star Wars. I'm like, I do, but
I do.
but
yeah.
So, I mean, think of how much space that takes up.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. If it's life size. But I think too, what a perfect message and maybe a perfect way to end the podcast is talking about Scorpio season coming up, and it's fall season, everything going, this is the time to release and let go. And so that means going through our stuff. That means holding on to grudges. That means holding on to pain or hurt. That means holding on to relationships that aren't working. That means holding on to that bra that's holding on by a bare thread. Go get a new one, girl. Go get a new one. You know what I mean? Letting go of things. It's a process. The world shows us in all of its seasons that we're in that time of letting go. Go with the season and release things that are no longer working for you in whatever way, shape, form that it shows. Trust yourself that spirit's got your back, that they're loving you, that they're guiding you, and that there is a serious possibility that Sasquatch is real and he's coming, swiggity swooty. He's coming for that booty, because we've all been doing those mating calls and he's ready.
and I have to say that, go with the flow. But the one thing you have to say is, going back to what you were saying about changing and letting go, when you think about the supposed shortage of employees, it's because people don't want to be disrespected. If I go back to when I first started working, when I started working at a hotel, you got a turkey for Thanksgiving, a ham for Christmas. You were given a gift card. You were treated with respect. You weren't just a hamster on a wheel. And at a certain point, that's what people have become. They become a commodity to corporations, and they don't look at us as people.
Well, because you're replaceable.
Right.
There's thousands. Yeah.
But now you're not finding that. I can't tell you how many people have reached out to be on the podcast that I quit my job. I quit corporate America because it's not healthy. It's toxic.
Corporate America almost killed me. Genuinely. Yeah. Genuinely, I almost died. Working in that space, it was hell. It was hell. They taught me, I was the last step before repo. They taught me how to I could bring a certain entity down with this information. But they taught me how to hack into people's phones, listen to their voicemails to make sure that their phone was theirs. Oh yeah, girl. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. That is just the tip. I wasn't meant for that job. I'm thinking I'm supposed to help people get back on their feet and be able to afford their car. And no, what they wanted me to do was get that money or to take their fucking vehicle. And it's like, that's not what we're here to do. And this was like in 2008. Whenever that whole bubble happened,
Yeah.
the stories that I heard, I would cry at work because it was so bad. Like just the stories I'm hearing, and I'm trying to work with them, and I'm getting pushed back from my fucking, person supervisor while I'm trying to help these people like pay for their fucking vehicle. Where the husband's not working and they got 4 kids and they're just trying to fucking live. So I just no, these corporate America, these banks, corporate America, all that bullshit. See y'all later. Bye. Gotta go, ho. I'm glad that people are finally standing up and being like, absolutely fucking not. We're not going to continue to do this. And anybody that backs that being okay, what the corporations are doing to us, or just get in there and do the job, get the fuck out of my face. How dare you? Get the fuck out of my face. You want to let them step on you? You want to be a bitch to corporate America? Then you go ahead. But it ain't going to be me.
Well,
bye.
That's one thing I was going to say. For me, I mean, I started in mail file, and I worked my way all the way up to a claim supervisor, a unit supervisor. But they got to a point after I hurt myself. I got hurt. I slipped on some snow and messed up my back pretty bad. And it got to a point where the people that I had gone through a claim. And when you're a claims adjuster, you have to evaluate, and I'm not talking work comp, I'm talking an auto accident, a slip and fall. You have to evaluate not only their medical bills, but their pain and suffering. And after my accident, I sat there and I said, what gives me the right to evaluate anybody's pain? Now that's aside from, now I enjoy the investigation part of my job. Don't get me wrong. And I enjoy the fraud part of finding fraud, but hearing the stories about a woman buying a motorcycle for her husband and then for their anniversary, and then him losing his leg and dealing with somebody dying and swerving out of the way and having their daughter killed. And you're not trained for this. And nobody's going to come talk to you and give you grief counseling for dealing with this. No, you're supposed to be professional, talk to them, and then deal with the aftermath. And you're supposed to pick up the phone and continue dealing with your claims. How do you mentally handle that after a certain point? There are people that have done it for 20 years, and I applaud you, but I'm not that person. I am too much of an empath to deal with that. So I
was in the hospital with like fucking, like I was in stroke zone with my anxiety attacks. Yeah, girl. Yeah.
I was sitting there. I thought I was having a heart attack, and I would sit at my desk crying, going, I can't do this anymore. And I was a supervisor at this point.
Wow.
And I wouldn't quit. And then John closed the couch on my foot, and I ended up needing ankle surgery.
Yeah.
So that kind of forced me out the door.
Yep.
So divine intervention.
Oh yeah, my anxiety attack. Well, my neck ended up giving out on me, and that started my whole comeback to myself situation. The surgery I had was so. We won't even get into it, but it made me sit down and like face myself and what was going on with me, and that's what got me to stand up and say, "Hey, I'm a medium," and it got me on this path. So as horrific as that job was, it was also at my tower card moment, and it got me to strip away all that wasn't working and that was bad, and stand on my own 2 feet and trust that I had this, and to trust spirit guiding me.
Then I'm gonna say this, what people have to realize is sometimes crisis equals opportunity.
Sometimes crisis equals liberation that we're too scared to take for ourselves. Absolutely. Yep. 100%. Making my nips hard on that one.
Well, I thank you as always for the time and the chat. And I'm sure we could have talked about some more really crazy shit, but that's for another time.
Girl, we could have gone on for another 8 hours talking crazy shit. I got stories. So let a sister know, I'll be back.
I know.
I love you, my friends. Thank you for today.
Thank you. So guys, if you made it to the other side of the show, which I hope you did, you know that Sarah and I always have a good time when we get on, when we start chatting. And we talk about the most crazy subjects in the world sometimes, and some that are near and dear to our hearts. So I hope you enjoyed it. She will be making another appearance. She will be the only guest that will have been on the show 4 times. But there's a good reason she's coming back. Her and Shanna, who you may remember from a show or 2 ago, well, they both had this experience. I've not personally had this experience, thank goodness, but both of them have had a near-death experience. And I wanted to put them together because talking to both of them, their experience is very similar. And it's not to dismiss anybody else's experience because it's all a personal journey. But I thought you guys might find it interesting. So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming up next month. I just have to pick an air date. But in the meantime, if you like the podcast, please subscribe. You can find us on YouTube, Apple, Audible, so many platforms. If you go to YouTube, you can leave a comment. If you go to Apple, you can leave a review, and those are always greatly appreciated. If you want to be a guest on the show, or you just want to reach out and say hi, you can do so by sending me an email at Donna@better2podcast.com. That's DAUNA at BETTER podcast.com. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you have a great Halloween. Happy Halloween. I won't be doing much, but that's okay. Next year, it'll be a different Halloween, and maybe I'll get back into the swing of things. So until then, happy trick-or-treating and happy haunting. Take care and have a great day. Catch you next time. Bye. You are listening to the Better 2 podcast with DM Needham.